at some point we are going to have to do a whole show about how good this show sounds.
Everybody, welcome to Downballot. We do this show live almost every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Pacific on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Echoplex Media. Echoplex Media is listener-supported something. Go to echoplexmedia.com, click the support link at the top, and find your favorite way to support the show. And if you can't do that, tell a friend about whatever you heard here. I'm Producer Dave, and you can find me on Grindr.
What's up, Producer Dave? This is the Councilman, as always, joining me here. You can find me on X, if it's still there, at THE_Councilman. You can also find me if you need to find me. Just look around. Happy to be here again for another fantastic week with the Downballot docket. Was really excited to join you last week to explore the wonders that are Shasta County Board of Supervisors. Hooray.
Also pretty cool just to kind of have you on with something maybe a little more casual where there's no like rapid fire clips and just kind of got to chit chat while people said stupid things. That was fun.
For sure, I could wear a t-shirt and not like a polo,
People were bugging me on Sunday. Somebody was like, hey, it's the news with Dave and the councilman. I'm like, it's not, but we could probably talk the councilman into hitting the main docket with us sometime soon here.
Hello, this is the news. I am here with the news.
Yeah, I was thinking we could probably talk you into hitting the main docket with us some Sunday. We'll talk about that off air, though.
Let's do it.
So what do we got for leading off this week?
Well, we're kind of doing a cyclical docket this week. This was normally a clip that would end up on another thing at the end of the show. But this week, we have a couple animal interest stories. And this one seemed like it was more appropriate for the front end of the docket. So we're going to find out about some homeowners who are renting their yards out to dogs.
For a lot of pet owners, taking their dog out for a walk is no walk in the park. A lot of pooches just don't get along with other pets or people. And now Itai Hod says there's an app for that.
In a world where dogs are considered man's best friend, not every pooch finds it easy to make new buddies.
Good boy.
Whenever Amy Branner takes her 3-year-old Border Terrier Oscar to the dog park, it's usually a rough day for everyone.
If you let him get within 50 feet of another dog, he becomes very unpredictable. Where are we going?
Which is why today she's headed to a place where he can run free without a worry in the world. But this isn't a dog park.
Good job.
It's a stranger's backyard.
His tail's wagging in anticipation. He goes straight for the gate. He knows exactly where he is. Here, let's get the ball.
The place was booked through an app called Sniff Spot. Think Airbnb for dogs that connects pet parents with homeowners willing to rent out their private property.
Sit.
For about $20 an hour, Oscar can have his own backyard, complete with an obstacle course and a pool.
Dogs are just having a really hard time in the modern world.
David Adams is Sniff Spot's founder and CEO. He says dogs like Oscar, who can't go to a public park, usually live a very sedentary lifestyle.
It's really not good for them. Physically, there's issues with obesity, and mentally, there's issues with anxiety, reactivity. All these things are coming about because they don't have that space to just be dogs.
Shannon Radke is the property owner. On an average week, she may have 4 to 5 bookings, but the extra cash, she says, isn't her main driver.
Just to see how happy it makes all the dogs it's worth it for me.
Can I have it?
The best part, Amy says, is watching her little fur baby have a ball.
This is happiness. This is his happy, relaxed, I love this look.
For Oscar, this Sniff Spot paradise is more than just a treat. It's a place that's right on the nose.
Sit. All right.
He was saving that one all day.
This is the dumbest fucking story we've covered in a long time. I have a lot of thoughts here.
I have so many too. Why don't you start?
I have one.
Don't forget to follow us on social media for beautiful food and inspiration.
Except said by a dog.
How did you know what I was thinking? Like precisely. Yeah, this is freaking hilarious. This is Karen's helping Karens, and we're having, we have so many clips on this show where we talk about the overwhelming cost of housing and the prices for rents and for mortgages in this area, and no offense to the dogs, but $20 an hour. I mean, there's some people I'm sure that wouldn't mind paying $20 an hour just to have a safe place to sleep or camp. Just a thought. That's one of my thoughts right now.
I like, on the other hand, like there's a backyard here.
I mean, are you going to become a Sniff Spot host?
Fuck no.
Why not? I don't know. There might be some incentives other than the rent. I don't know how that gets processed, but how you determine that really, but I guess it's up to you. If you charge too much, people aren't going to use your backyard.
But I don't like people, and generally, I mean, sometimes dogs are okay, but I generally don't like dogs. But I guess all I have to do is open the back gate. No, I'm not doing it.
You're probably not the ideal Sniff Spot host.
No.
But that's okay. That's okay. I'm sure they will find others.
So I wonder like what the split is, right? Like if you get $20, like does the
Sniff Spot?
Yeah, what is Sniff Spot's split? Is it
probably in like the 3 to 5%? I would guess range. Maybe 10.
I bet it's closer to 30.
Well, percent wise, yeah, probably 10%. I would say would be fair. Maybe that I don't know. I'm not familiar enough. I don't know enough about Airbnb and how they do their price structures either. I would guess 10 to 15% would be reasonable.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's closer to 30 just because like that's the Apple split, that's the YouTube split. Like I'm just thinking like that's sort of industry standard for this stuff is a 30%.
There you go then. That you know more than I do. That's for sure.
I don't know. It's dumb. I think like I guess there's a couple things. One, like, okay, like if your dog doesn't get along with other dogs, but that's like probably more of a training and acclimation issue than like something else.
Yeah. And it could be a you thing rather than the dog.
Right.
Like, or more of a you thing.
If the dog has like an altercation with another dog and then you freak the fuck out and are like, oh, puppy, I'm so sorry. Well, then the dog doesn't know that. The dog just thinks that they did something right or whatever because you're puppying them. I don't know.
Right.
Fuck, I don't know. Like,
no,
whatever.
I think you're on the right track.
That lady with the tattoos seemed cool as fuck, and I want to go have a drink with her. But I might even pay $20 an hour to sit in her backyard and have a drink with her. I don't know.
Maybe that's an option. Like, do they charge more if the host like comes out and actually hangs out with the dog and like pet sits?
Oh, there's
Could
also
you leave the dog? Could you leave the dog
oh,
there? Could it be like pet sitting? No.
There's also some ways in which dudes could be, and I do mean dudes could be really weird about this, right?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, there's always a way that dudes can be weird about shit, isn't there?
They're like, I didn't even bring a dog. What are you doing?
Hey, sup? Woof.
So we're going to move on to winners and losers, where it looks like actually this week, the first story is where it looks like there are winners. The only problem is I didn't get booked for this, but I also didn't inquire. What's this first story?
It's more like they're trying to win. How about that? I don't think anyone's actually won anything, but they're trying to win. So everyone's heard about the doom loop, right? A lot of cities experience it. San Francisco is said to be experiencing it. And it I don't know if it's reality. We'll find out more in later clips and whether or not you believe it or not, or believe it's just a fabrication of a fabrication, right? Anyway, regardless, local leaders have been trying everything they can to spur interest in the city and investment to make sure that the doom loop does not continue. So they had themselves a block party to end the doom loop, and I think Willie Brown hosted, and it was just crazy. So let's check it out. And producer Dave did not play.
Former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown led the way, cutting a ribbon to reject the so-called doom loop narrative about the city.
It means that we are challenging everything people say negative about San Francisco.
A section of Larkin Street was full of stages and artists today, shining a positive light in the Tenderloin.
Tenderloin gets Love Fest, and we're bringing the love to all these small businesses here today.
Adam Swig with the nonprofit Value Culture co-produced the event along with the Tenderloin Merchants Association.
This doom loop's alleged. The pandemic was awful. It affected all of us. The problems in San Francisco that we have kind of existed before that here in the Tenderloin. They're not new. And today's just an example of where we could move forward.
Encampment sweeps continue in the city, which is also pushed to dismantle drug markets. Some say more businesses are coming in.
Resources for the unhoused and also cleaning resources. And it has got even amped up.
I think that any attempt to bring positive energy and positive traffic, positive attention to the neighborhood is a win.
Business owners say the effort today to change the narrative and bring people out to support them is important.
I just think that people don't come to the Tenderloin because they see it as not clean and they see it as not safe. And so when we have events like this, of course, there's a cleanup effort and, there's a safety effort and in these kind of confined areas. But go ahead and walk a couple blocks in any other direction and it's just not that.
Justin Bautista runs the clothing store Tilted Brim and says he would like to see this kind of effort amplified throughout the neighborhood.
It's great to have these events here. I think they're helping to revitalize the area. As everyone knows, this area has been quite impacted, especially since the pandemic.
Christy Smith, NBC Bay Area News.
Okay, a couple things look pretty poorly attended, although they may have shown up like at the beginning.
Yeah, that could be it. I imagine it went into the afternoon a bit there. It looked like they got there midday at the highest point of the sun. No one's going to want to be out dancing.
Also, I am the organizer is someone who's known to me and has been involved in nightlife and electronic dance music events in San Francisco since the 90s. So,
and why didn't he call you?
Known to me doesn't mean I'm known to him.
True. Cheers to that. Well, as much as they try, I do think it is more narrative than actual substance. And I would definitely not count this next company in any sort of normal capacity. But, if you're looking for X, they may not be in San Francisco, no mo.
Well, new developments this morning in Elon Musk's tug of war with San Francisco. Looks like the days are numbered for his mid-market X headquarters.
Today in the Bay's Chris Sanchez in our newsroom this morning. Okay, so Chris, from the sound of it, all the holdovers will not necessarily be moving from the Bay Area to Texas, right?
So this might go from a business report to kind of a traffic report in Mike's department, because some employees who used to show up for work in San Francisco will now be heading to work in San Jose and Palo Alto, and soon over the next few weeks, according to an internal email. In that email obtained by the New York Times, ex-chief executive Linda Yaccarino wrote to employees, "This is an important decision that impacts many of you, but it is the right one for our company long term." This appears to be Musk making good on his threat to leave San Francisco and California over political differences, the latest of which was a California policy banning school districts from notifying parents when the children change their gender identification. Musk bought Twitter in 2022. You might remember the bird came down and then the X went up. Now the X is down again. According to the Chronicle, since taking over X, Musk battled the city over that unsanctioned X sign, also over an effort to turn empty offices into bedrooms for traveling workers. He was also sued by the landlord for not paying rent. X's departure is the latest blow to San Francisco, which, according to real estate company CBRE, has a 37% vacancy rate as of last quarter. However, the good news here is that number seems to be stabilizing. Laura?
So, I don't know if he doesn't like how woke San Francisco is. I'm not sure he's going to be a big fan of San Jose.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the phrasing they had there. Elon Musk making good in his pledge to leave San Francisco and California by going to San Jose. That makes perfect sense in the greater scheme of things. And if you're from San Jose, you get the joke.
So even with Mayor Ed 209, just and it's all kind of vibes based, it seems like San Jose is still moving in a fairly progressive direction as a city, where it seems like San Jose is actually kind of pulling back and behaving in a more like reactionary sort of way.
Yeah, San Francisco, you mean?
Yeah,
he's pulling back. Yeah. No, I agree. No, I am. We're going to get, and that's really most of the winners and losers docket today is kind of taking a look at that, right, including the next story. But you're right. I think on the whole, San Jose is moving in a more progressive direction. It's by fits and starts, kicking and screaming, but it's happening. And and San Francisco, who knows? Maybe in some sort of relapse reaction to a tug to the left, right? There's a tug to the right. Like there always is, and we're just in the middle of it right now. So on the other side of this tug, perhaps there's another tug back to the left, and we'll realize, we're further along than we thought we were on. But then again, maybe we'll just be stuck in a tug of war forever.
But it's funny too. They called it mid-market. That the headquarters in the Mission. All right,
pretty much.
Headquarters is in the Mission. I don't know why.
It's there.
It's weird because
it's on market, so I guess that technically they'll just
I guess I was wrong. Okay.
Well, it's at a corner. I don't know if it could be Mission and Market actually. I'm not entirely
Mission
positive.
runs parallel to Market, but anyway,
eventually, yeah.
Anyway, let's not do a geography lesson. Let's just I was wrong. It's actually on Market. I didn't even know because I must have gone by it like a million times and never noticed it over the years.
So so many things on Market, honestly.
Yeah. To be fair, if I'm walking down Market, I'm not really paying too close of attention to like what businesses are there, right? You're like walking down the main street of a major city. Like it's not, I don't think it's dangerous or whatever, but it's kind of good to keep an eye on what's going around at street level.
There's pedestrians, bicyclists, train. Right, there's a metro on the street there.
Yeah,
cars,
maybe I
buses.
ran past it because I was like afraid I was going to miss BART. Like, who knows?
There's BART. Yeah, there's BART stations with stairwells and escalators and people coming up and going down. It's a busy little corridor. But yeah, so it's not, and it's kind of a nondescript building anyway. So it's not like it's it's not surprising it could be missed.
So up next we got. I thought that your item description on the docket was like being a little bit spicy, and it is, but good for ABC7 for being a little bit spicy with their title. And they're like, it says San Francisco mayor directs staff to offer homeless bus tickets before housing. And I was like, oh shit, because I saw that I was like, ooh, the councilman, and then I looked, I was like, oh no, ABC spicy.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. They are being journalistic-y. They actually have a subject line that is what the story is about and what's actually happening.
This isn't good.
No, but ABC7 will tell us how not good it is.
Well, I have some thoughts on transit and people who are down on their luck or in like on lower socioeconomic stuff. Maybe we'll get to it after the clip. Let's see what. Let's see how they frame this.
Right.
Always live. ABC 7 News starts right now.
It's a controversial push to get San Francisco's unhoused population out of town. Mayor Breed putting out an executive order to buy bus tickets for the homeless population as the city's shelters are near full. Good evening, I'm Amma Dates.
And I'm Dan Ashley. Thanks for joining us. This comes as Mayor Breed says they are seeing some progress in creating housing for many longtime San Franciscans. But this directive addresses the growing portion of people coming in from out of town.
ABC 7 News reporter Tara Campbell has been committed to this issue. She is in the studio with more on this new mandate. Tara.
Yeah, Dan and Amma, the mayor's move comes as the city ramps up efforts to sweep encampments. This following a recent Supreme Court ruling making way for cities to force people off the streets. And now this attempt to send more people back home.
The push to get people off the streets of San Francisco is intensifying. Mayor London Breed issuing a directive Thursday to all city departments working with homeless people, ordering them to offer relocation assistance before providing any other services, including housing and shelter. The goal is to reunite people with family and supports in other communities.
I support it as long as we verify that those people will actually have a place.
Del Seymour is the founder of Code Tenderloin, a nonprofit working with people on the streets for decades. And he says the city's relocation efforts often fall short.
You know, a lot of people get on the phone very emotional and says, yeah, send them back, I'll take care of it. But by the time they get there, we're not sure they really have a place.
As for the reasoning behind the directive, the mayor's office points to the most recent point-in-time count. The last tally showing 40% of unhoused individuals came to San Francisco from another county or from out of state.
There's a lot of people who come out here thinking that San Francisco is going to be this wonderful state for them to live and thrive, and actually they're leaving home because they think they're going to find something else here.
Donna Hilliard says offering people a way home is key.
They need to be able to go back home. I think offering them that chance to reunite with their family, where their support system is everything.
While others warn the Journey Home program only goes so far in solving the homelessness crisis.
It does serve a small population of people who do have communities outside of San Francisco that they can reconnect with and be housed. But any attempts in the past to expand it have been unsuccessful because there's just not that many people who benefit from the program.
Now, San Francisco has been offering relocation services since 2005 through a program previously known as Homeward Bound. A couple of years ago, it started replacing it with more robust programs offering services to more people. Today's directive simply prioritizes those efforts. Dan?
Interesting. All right, Tara, thanks very much. And
he was going to riff for a minute. I wanted to hear what he was going to say.
Unless he was going to segue into another story, which could have happened as well. So this is... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I have a couple things. One, first of all, if you're like down on your luck or whatever, maybe not a bus ticket out, but motherfucker, give that person a Muni Pass.
Yeah.
So they can get around the city.
At the very least. Yeah. Don't have to necessarily tell them to get lost. Help them get around. I'm down with that.
And so this is going to be horrible. It's probably going to get clipped. I have some friends in New Orleans I'd like to go visit. So what if I go like sleep on the streets of San Francisco for a couple weeks so I can get like a free ticket to get my travel expenses to New Orleans covered?
I mean, that sounds like just a brilliant plan. I think the good wife and I are going to go down there with Bad Baby and camp out because, I mean, flights are expensive, and now Bad Baby's over 2 years old, so we got to pay for her seat. So, yeah, we'll go down there and just beg. And she's so cute, producer Dave. I mean, we'll get all the money we need to get ourselves a plane ticket out of here.
So
or a bus ticket.
So it's interesting because there were people that said, hey, some people did come here thinking that they would have opportunities for employment and ended up on the street. And I think those are the people who probably most likely would have means to get home more likely maybe than other people. But also, what do they mean by home? Do they just mean where you came from? Because there's a little bit of go back where you came from here. And there's that phrase, it doesn't really have a great history.
Right, and not even so much that it could be as simple as get out of here, right? Like we don't care where you go, but you can't stay here, and that's the attitude. And it is sort of tapping into this narrative that there are all these people who come to San Francisco or to California in general or San Jose because of these wonderful amenities that we provide for homeless people, right? And the services we provide and the free stuff, right? The free food, the free whatever, that they think that suddenly like flowing from heaven, like manna from heaven, once an unhoused person comes to California from somewhere else where they were ostensibly unhoused, more than likely, right? That does not happen. And it is a small, like the one activist said, it is a very small percentage of the unhoused population that had an address before they were unhoused that was somewhere else. Now, San Francisco is a little bit of a different case. Because it is a smaller, more condensed city, and it just has a high threshold of living, and it just has a history, right, of being a place that is safe. Maybe not maybe not all the giveaways, but at least a place that has been welcoming, right, and more hospitable. Now, of course, we're experiencing the Mayor Breed regime, right, and it's changed, and if you listen to the dialogue around the mayor's race, unless like Aaron Peskin is somehow miraculously elected, I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. So it's like I said, it's the push and the pull, the tug of war. But right now, it's definitely pulling in that direction, in direction of get the hell out of here. We don't want to see you, and that's unfortunate because there's a lot better ways to handle the situation.
That old song, "If You're Going to San Francisco," is ripe for like a redo by a punk band. Yeah, I feel like Patty Kay and the Ruffies could do a really good, like, it's not like you're going to meet some gentle people there, like, no.
Or they could sing the same lyrics and just make it really ironic, like the way Patty Kay sings. It would just be, he snarls a little bit, and it's like, yeah, that's awesome. If you're going to San Francisco,
you could, if. There's a way in which you're right. You wouldn't have to change the words, and it could be dripping with irony just because it's punk rock, right?
Right. We'll pitch it to Patty Kay. That's beautiful. What a great idea.
Right. I think maybe they could do two: one where they don't change the lyrics, and one where they do, so that people, there's some people out there who maybe wouldn't get the joke. So
right, or in the same song, just do like the original lyric, and then follow it up with an original Ruffies lyric.
So it looks like. This is another instead of housing story.
Yes, only instead of not drugs, right? So it's not theoretically it's not just for unhoused people, right? It's for people who are on drugs, but it's really for people who these people think are on drugs, which is all unhoused people.
Right, because real quick, you start looking in the briefcases of people heading to those offices in the financial district, and it's not like you're not going to find no cocaine.
Right, and it's not surprising the supervisor who's proposing this, but we'll find out a little more from KPIX.
Francisco is considering another tool to ease the city's drug crisis. It's pretty straightforward: money in return for sobriety. Wilson Walker on the plan they're calling cash, not drugs.
This legislation will create a voluntary sobriety and recovery incentive that will offer eligible recipients of general assistance in San Francisco a bonus of up to $100 if they test negative for illicit drugs.
A reward for a clean drug test. The plan is that simple, and it is based on a treatment strategy known as contingency management.
It's where patients receive tangible incentives to reinforce positive behaviors like abstinence from addictive substances or adherence to medically assisted treatment.
You'll remember that back in March, San Francisco voters approved Prop F, which meant drug screening for those who receive money through the county's General Assistance Program, or CAP. The city thinks about a third of those folks have substance abuse disorder. Well, that's pretty much how this would work. Those who are referred to treatment through that would be eligible for the money. They would receive it if they test clean, an actual carrot for drug treatment.
You should give them $100 and a carrot.
I want
And a bus ticket.
Easier. Just as easy to get treatment as it is to go out there and buy drugs.
Wow. She's supporting this? No kidding.
Breed is on board, along with the city's increasingly...
And she just used the word dope.
Also in support, one of the voices that opposed Prop F.
Always seems to be the default on like, we'll take care of this and we'll make a difference is almost always some type of punitive approach that punishes people.
It did come with a few laughs among his occasional adversaries, but Gary McCoy was on hand to speak in support of the legislation.
You know, I know both in my personal experience and in the work that I do on behalf of Health Right 360 that providing incentives are the best way, most successful way to make positive behavioral health changes.
The program is said to be eligible for any number of funding sources, state and local. And the idea is that as people test clean for a longer period of time, the reward might increase a little bit. You know, in a realm where we often hear about people having disagreements, here is one idea that clearly has a lot of support both inside City Hall and beyond.
And according to data from the San Francisco Office of the Chief Medical Examiner, last year was the deadliest on record for overdose deaths with 810. As of June, there have been 374 accidental overdose deaths in 2024 with fentanyl as the most common drug.
Oh, this seems like it seems pretty infantilizing. It's almost like an allowance.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. Like, here you go. Make sure you have flossed your teeth. We'll give you $1. Yeah, it's just more of the just the assumption of how simple it is to solve things, right? Like when someone goes to, you know, one of these the 12-step programs, right? They're not getting paid to be there, right? The incentive they get is like, sometimes they're being forced to because of like the court, right? But the incentive they get is like a little coin every couple months, right? That tells them, hey, I've been sober for this many months. But really it's because, you know, they go because they need the support. They need people and friends. And, you know, they don't have these things in the world. So that's what people need is support and, yeah, friendship and sympathy and empathy, and not like, you know, I mean, yeah, $100 in their pocket is no joke, right? Especially when you're struggling that hard. But, you know, yeah, you're right. It's like an allowance. It's like treating these people like children, not like grown-ass adults who need help, you know, and are in some cases asking for it, but we're not giving them the right kind of help.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it just seems. It also just, when you think of like the cost of living in San Francisco, it's kind of insulting almost.
Yeah, like what are you going to pay with? I mean, no offense, it could buy some food for sure, right? But like, what are you going to realistically spend $100 on, right? There's no one bill you can pay with that. Even there's no, you know, there's definitely no rent you can pay. You could rent out someone's backyard for 5 hours,
right? But then you got to buy a dog,
right? Or maybe not, right? Hey, woof woof, baby.
So the entirety of the winners and losers docket actually this week is San Francisco. This is an embezzlement scheme. It seems like
there's definitely some losers here.
Ooh, a nonprofit. We'll learn more about it from the clip. Let's just let the clip roll. see.
And I'm sure Aaron Peskin is not involved at all, even though he's in this picture. But I'm sure.
Oh, there's a camera there. Of course, Aaron Peskin's there.
And Dennis Chu.
Former executive director of a San Francisco nonprofit has been arrested. She's accused of stealing public funds.
San Francisco's district attorney investigators say the money was meant to help fight crime. KTVU's Christian Captain joins us live with the details. Christian?
Yeah, the DA's office says that the former executive director of SF Safe was arrested and is facing dozens of felony charges that for misusing close to $750,000.
My name is Kyra Worthy. I'm the executive director of San Francisco Safe.
San Francisco's district attorney's office investigators have arrested Kyra Worthy, the fired head of the now defunct SF Safe, a nonprofit that once partnered with the San Francisco Police Department. The DA's office has leveled 34 felony charges related to misuse and embezzlement of close to $750,000, an alleged subsequent cover-up, and wage theft. Worthy was fired from SF Safe in January after an audit. The organization closed its doors after nearly 50 years of service. The DA's office is accusing Worthy of squandering $500,000 and using another $100,000 on personal expenses, including $90,000 for a home health care nurse for her parents in North Carolina. President of the Board of Supervisors, Aaron Peskin, called for an audit more than a year ago, worried that something wasn't adding up.
Incidents like this vastly erode public trust, which is precisely why I have formulated an inspector general to give our controller the powers that they haven't had up until now, the power of subpoena, the power of search warrant, and that's going to be on this November's ballot.
The mayor's office released a statement saying, quote, "The mayor has been focused on creating greater accountability for city departments and nonprofits. She appreciates the district attorney's office work in this case and believes it's important that everyone knows they cannot violate the public trust by taking actions such as stealing, embezzling, or any other illegal activity." The San Francisco Police Department released a short statement as well, reading, quote, "The SFPD thanks the district attorney's office for its thorough investigation and diligent work on this case."
Scams and extortion-related crimes.
Worthy was booked into San Francisco County Jail and will likely be formally charged in court later this week. We're live in San Francisco. Christian Captain, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Christian, thank you for that report.
It's funny. It's like a anti-crime nonprofit head of it doing crimes.
Right. Safe streets, but not safe bank accounts, apparently. My goodness. Yeah, as someone who has directed a nonprofit, as someone who works extensively in the nonprofit community on development and fundraising, it's a pain in the ass to raise money for these organizations. So this is like doubly insulting for me that this woman would squander like people's hard-earned bucks that they donated to this organization thinking they were doing something good, right? Instead they're paying for, no offense, I mean, God help her parents, but like they're paying for her parents, nursing, right? That's not what they signed on for. So that just to me is like doubly insulting. There's the basic fiduciary, breach of trust and she's going to have to pay for in court. But it's just so galling that someone would do this with dollars that were donated by people like you and me. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, this is interesting in that like maybe we need to stop doing so much of this public-private partnership stuff in the first place. There are good nonprofits that are working with like local, state, and the federal government to do good work. I don't want to like besmirch them, but that's been something. Every time one of these stories comes up, I probably say the same thing. It's like, why do we got to do all this stuff? Like, why is it always got to be a public-private partnership? Like,
yeah, I don't. I mean, also coming from that world, I don't think it's not a going concern. I wouldn't say like it's not something that these are few and far between when these things do happen. It's just that they're the ones that get the coverage, right? Because no one pays any attention if everything just keeps functioning the way it's supposed to function and the nonprofits do their good work in the community and everyone's happy. It's only when things go wrong, like when the homeless shelter, right, had those issues, and now the nonprofit running it had to, sell it, and now they're actually considering, changing their entire structure because something went wrong, right? But for the most part, the nonprofits that at least local governments partner with generally do plenty of good. It's when you get into these deeper relationships like this organization had with the government, right? When it's just the government like giving out grants and money to support these organizations, right? It's kind of like small business support in that way. But with like these kind of relationships where it's more, it's kind of more of an intimate relationship. Yeah, I think there should be a higher threshold, and there should be more vetting of, not the organizations necessarily, but also the people involved in the organizations, because people still run these things. The mission is one thing, but I've known plenty of, organizations where, the mission's great, but the people leading the organization are not necessarily leading it in the right direction.
Yeah, I just think of somebody who's been maybe working for this organization for 20 years and, not only are they now out of a job, but they maybe this stink rubs off on them as they go to apply for another job, even though they had nothing to do with this.
Right. I actually would imagine that there's a pretty small team here, because and she probably kept a pretty close knit team, right? Like people who are loyal to her, who would never bother to look into, why is this, why does this not add up? Don't ask, just file the report. You're my buddy. I would never do anything. So in situations like this, it's usually something like that, where you just got this nice tight group of people around the person who's executing the scheme, because they won't look, they'll trust her enough and they won't look into it. But the broader you get, the more, eyes, the more ears, the more chit chat around the proverbial water cooler, right?
This person got caught, but I wonder, like, if over the course of 50 years, maybe it was sort of a wink and a nod in this organization that people near the top or whatever might use the money for their own personal stuff. This is just speculation, but it seems like a lot of times when this happens, I don't think like people just go in and you know what I'm saying? I think that this person had some inkling that she would be able to get away with it. I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think it's either that you're so brash that you think you can get away with it, or you're pretty confident that no one's watching, right? And you have friends that'll back you up if something should go wrong. And sometimes it starts, I haven't been privy to this like directly, like embezzlement, but financial and misconduct and financial problems generally start as something very small in this nonprofit world, and then escalate and evolve and just ripple, because the person who's responsible they did something wrong. They know they did, but they needed something, they needed some little thing, and then it became a bigger thing, and it became a bigger thing, and suddenly you can't hide it anymore in the books, and you're having to just create schemes upon schemes to hide it in the books, and it grows beyond your control, and at some point when no one's found out, you probably do get to the point of being like, I'm okay, I can do whatever I want, no one's watching, I'm clean, I can just get away with it, right? So that's probably true to some extent. I think it grows to that point. I think there is a conscience that had to come into play at some early stage. But yeah, when you're at the point of like wage theft and siphoning out hundreds of thousands of dollars, that's when it's gotten out of control, and something has to be done.
I'm glad they caught her, but
yes, very much so. And who knows? I don't know if it was internal or whatnot, but the wage theft allegations lead me to believe that it was something internal. So maybe her team wasn't as loyal as she thought they were.
Yeah, well, when you start fucking with somebody's paycheck, you lose their loyalty pretty quickly. Right, and their livelihood, right? Because this comes out. It really doesn't matter. Like this organization is going to go down and not have much of a future anyway, because there's really no way you could even bring in someone new and fundraise for the brand, right? You'd have to completely rebrand the organization. So yeah, it's a mess. They're not going to have any job anyway, regardless. So
winners and losers.
It's time for I guess the Santa Clara County Office of Education to get their shit together.
That's what I hear. I keep seeing it on the news. So a couple weeks ago, it was like a raid, basically, of little bureaucrats with backpacks going into the Office of Ed to dig up information, some federal investigators, and now it looks like there is going to be a formal investigation and perhaps some some malfeasance and charges at some point. But we'll learn more from NBC Bay Area.
Just weeks ago, we broke the story that the Santa Clara County Office of Education is under federal review over allegations it misused taxpayer funds. Well, now some county office staff say that steps are being taken to silence them. They spoke with our investigative reporter, Candace Wynn.
Shortly after our first report, dozens of early learning staff received an email from their union saying management wants to relocate their jobs and reclassify their positions. Many of them feel it's retaliation.
After we showed you 6 monitors from the federal Head Start program walking into the Santa Clara County Office of Education on July 15th, dozens of office staff at the Ritter Park Drive headquarters in San Jose say they received this email from their union. It describes 2 proposals from the county office, or SCCOE, for all early learning staff to be located at school sites instead of at Ritter Park, with few exceptions, and for the reclassification of office specialists to admin 2.
It's clearly a demotion in classification and eventually in pay. There's a lot of fear among the staff that received this email.
Fearful for her job, this employee asked to remain anonymous. She's with the county's Head Start program and is part of Early Learning Services staff. Head Start is a federal program that SCCOE operates to help vulnerable South Bay children with early development.
Tonight, a story you'll see only on NBC Bay Area.
Last month, we told you about the federal review of SCCOE related to allegations it misused Head Start funds. The superintendent wouldn't talk with us, but her executive director called the issue an accounting error that's been fixed. This staffer believes the allegations that prompted the investigation also prompted the staff relocation and reclassification proposals that would impact her job and others. She believes management is trying to prevent staff from reporting information.
I feel like the main reason is they want us out of Ritter Park. I feel like they're trying to control us by controlling information that we receive, by trying to silence us.
Are you the only one with these concerns?
No.
Many of the workers expressed similar concerns.
Sarah Giannacaro is the chapter president of SEIU Local 521. She says she recently met with dozens of employees who also fear for their jobs. She says there's a pattern of retaliation concerns with SCCOE Superintendent Marianne Dewan and her management team.
There are a number of staff across our organization, when an issue arises, are afraid to speak up because there are many instances of perceived retaliation.
One example, according to local Head Start staff and volunteers we spoke with, their director, Antonio Fuentes, being placed on leave last March. When we asked why, SCCOE officials said they cannot comment on personnel matters. 2 sources close to that investigation tell us Fuentes was one of the people who reported concerns with how SCCOE was handling Head Start money.
I just want to kind of reiterate how fearful we all are for our jobs.
The investigative unit brought these issues to Superintendent Dewan, requesting an interview. She didn't respond. Executive Director Kelly Wiley sent a statement to us saying, for several years now, there have been informal conversations regarding ways to increase access for children and families to the Head Start program. One of the ideas is having Head Start team members more visible out in the community. Giannacaro says that rationale isn't aligned with what the staff actually do.
Starting with the fact that they don't work directly with students and families.
I feel like I'm very much not alone in my fears and in my concerns.
Federal monitors have left the county office. The on-site portion of their review is done, and we're now waiting on their findings. As for the proposals, the county office tells me they're still considered informal. With the investigative unit, I'm Candace Wen, NBC.
Candace, thank you. If you have a story for our investigative.
So I feel like they're trying to separate these people so they can't talk to each other and at the water cooler or so to speak. I feel like that they're trying to isolate maybe the people who have been the squeakiest wheels in all this.
Oh, yeah. This is absolutely circling the wagons kind of mentality. You can see it playing out, right? Someone's looking. Well, we gotta shore up everything we probably should have shored up a long time ago. if they really were worried. But again, right? It's like, oh, no one's watching, no one's looking, we can get away with it. And now they're not. And this is, again, so not nonprofit tax deductible donations, but our federal tax dollars at work here, right? Funding these programs and money being diverted to basically do whatever folks want with it, right? Not the money, not use it how it was intended, not use it where it's supposed to be. And people wonder why our public education systems are so screwed up. It's like, well, and why they can't get enough funding, right? Well, the funding that comes gets diverted to other purposes. And it's like, what is going on? Now, the good news, I guess, is that the County Office of Education runs, it doesn't run any schools per se. It runs programs in almost all of our schools, but it doesn't run the schools. So, this money isn't money that was going to be used to pay, teachers in our public schools and keeping the lights on and getting good HVAC units in our schools, right? Although some of it would be used to pay special education teachers, which is what the county office provides, special education support. So, yeah, if you think about it that way, that's even worse. This money is being misappropriated. And yeah, good on them that they're looking into it. But it's not surprising to see the superintendent circling the wagons. And she's been under fire a lot. I can tell you this on aside from her board, the board of trustees that are elected. There's 7, I think, board members that are elected to govern the Santa Clara County Office of Education. And they are not very happy with what the superintendent's been up to lately. So I know that there has been some talk about her contract, right? And that's the one power that school boards have is that they can hire and fire the superintendent. So if shit's going down, they do have that ability. They just don't really leverage that or use it all that much. Anyway.
So sending them to the school seems interesting too, because I mean, like, do the schools like even have an office? Like, you know what I'm saying? Is there like an extra office just laying around for this person to like go to the school? And then what do they fucking do there? The representative was like, these people don't really interact with students and teachers. So like they're bureaucrats, and I don't bureaucrat has like a negative connotation or whatever, but they're bureaucrats. So
yeah, there's plenty of people. I worked in bureaucracy in a school district and before quote unquote bureaucracy, right? And the sort of cabinet, as you might call it, it's definitely all bureaucrats, but it's also people. These are people who they craft the curriculum, right? They craft they do HR. They do all the different elements that go in recruitment, teacher recruitment, right? They go do all the different elements that go into education. But they are bureaucrats for sure, because once you get to that level, it's very much because you are an obedient member of the system, right? And you've all it's hard to see what they would do in that context. Like, because they're kind of like programmatic specialists and people who would work in an office. So yeah, just pull up a desk in one of the offices or share a desk with someone, right? I don't know what they would really do, or go to the library maybe.
Well, they're also just like the responsibility. Like, okay, sure, the school's not employing them, but like I said, they have to give them an office. They have to air condition the office. They're using like the bathrooms. It all seems really small, but in these already stressed schools, especially I think, was it at Almaden? Like, then okay, like now this school has to like basically provide for this person's like safety in their work environment.
Yeah.
When that person
providing resources, right,
doesn't work for the fucking school.
Right. Exactly. Now they might be working on programs that are typically provided at that school, but they don't necessarily, it's still, like you said, it's space, it's resources, it's all costs money, and it all takes away from something else. So yeah, I'm sure they're not very happy about it either. And but that's kind of what they were doing in the first place, which was just paying for one thing with funds that should have been paid for, like paying people for doing something, but not what they were supposed to be paying them to do with that money is basically what's happening here. Like the same administrators and bureaucrats would be getting paid, or would have been getting paid if it was being done right, but they weren't, like the way that they were allocating the funds. They were basically covering deficits in their budget somewhere else, right? With this money, but it could have been paying the same person theoretically, right?
Right.
Because an administrator gets paid out of sort of the general bucket, and then any sort of special buckets for projects that they're working on, right?
Just seems like divide and conquer. Just seems very much like divide and conquer.
Oh yeah. They're just trying to. It's kind of a dying cat call too. It's like it's the last thing you usually hear is when they're just trying to get everyone below them fighting amongst each other and then try to find a parachute in the meantime.
And they were like, oh, we want them to be more visible in the community. And it's like, but they're just, what do you mean more visible? What are they just going to go hang out in fucking English?
Yeah.
English class? What are you talking about? Like,
at the bar, Producer Dave, after school, man, they're going to grab a happy hour drink and be more visible in the community. Well, we shall definitely follow up on that because there will be more. The investigative unit is on it, so we won't have to worry about what happens next. When they have an update, we'll find out. And we'll bring it to you right here on Downballot.
So we're moving on to Downballot / a recall watch, and it looks like there's a how to recall city council members. This is not great. I mean, like, whatever. Like, but I don't.
It's from this is like almost a PSA kind of website, countyoffice.org. But yeah, we should just play it just to get a taste. But they basically provide info and guidance as to how to do anything election related in your county. But anyway, I couldn't figure out much more, but you can go to countyoffice.org to find out more, and we'll watch their video here. It's all recall watch this week. So let's find out.
Welcome to County Office, your ultimate guide to local government services and public records. Let's get started.
How to recall city council members. The joys of democracy. Sometimes we just need a do-over. If you're wondering how to recall city council members, you've come to the right place. Let's dive into the process and requirements
like AI.
of recalling elected officials. First things first. Recall laws vary by state and even by municipality, so it's important to check your local laws and regulations. In general, though, the recall process starts with a petition. You'll need to gather signatures from a certain percentage of registered voters in your area, usually around 15 to 25%. Once you've got those signatures, it's time to submit your petition to the city clerk or other designated official. They'll review the petition, verify the signatures, and ensure everything is in order. If all looks good, they'll schedule a recall election. But wait, there's more. Before the recall election takes place, the targeted city council member-ees will have the opportunity to submit a written response, which will be included on the ballot. This gives them a chance to defend themselves and explain why they believe they should not be recalled. Now, it's time for the voters to have their say. During the recall election, voters will be asked whether or not they want to recall the city council member Oz in question. If a majority votes in favor of the recall, the official is removed from office, and a separate election is held to choose their replacement. Keep in mind that the recall process can be lengthy and expensive, so it's important to weigh the pros and cons before diving in. But if you're determined to bring about change in your local government, recalling city council members may be just the ticket.
To learn more, check out these links which you can click in the description below, and feel free to comment your questions. We're here to help. Thanks for tuning in to our video. Please like and subscribe, and leave a comment below. See you in the next video.
Okay, now I think AI is taking over.
Can you please play the clip, the soundboard clip that you played earlier tonight?
Don't forget to follow us on social media for beautiful food and inspiration.
It's like AI, but basic.
That was, I know, right? And it was obviously an AI voice reading that, voice to, or text to voice.
I liked when it said us, like it said
us
member
around the parentheses S.
Yes, member S.
The parentheses around S made it say S and us at two different times. It killed me. This is great. I love the very was it right off the bat, right? Democracy in action! Hooray! Oh my goodness! Oh, bad baby, I'll be out in just a minute. Okay, she's knocking on the door. Anyway, yeah, that it just cracked me up. We had to watch it. I don't even know if that woman in the video is AI. Like she might be.
That was all seemed very surreal and not in like a cool artsy way.
Right. Like, hooray, recall your council members. I'm very frightened that this exists. I did look at their website. I need to look at more of their videos. They have a lot of different tutorials on their website. So folks, check it out. Check it out. Please send us interesting memes and clips. We'd love to see them and post them here.
Yeah, I think that this is literally like, this is just an artificial intelligence program trying to sow chaos among the humans.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. And I'm very frightened buy it. So please don't recall everybody. It's not worth it. If there's elections, just follow the electoral cycle. But speaking of which, I didn't even know Millbrae had a recall going on. I can't believe we missed this on Down Ballot recall watch. So we're going to find out more about what's going on in Millbrae. I guess they're like still counting ballots. It takes a while. It's Millbrae. We'll find out more. KPIX.
In the city of Millbrae, voting will close tonight on a special election to decide whether 2 members of the city council will be recalled. John Ramus reports it's part of an angry reaction to a county plan to convert a local hotel into homeless housing.
I'm shocked.
It used to be that recalls were rare, reserved for politicians who committed some kind of egregious act. But in the city of Millbrae, 2 out of the 5 city council members may end up losing their jobs tonight for refusing to sign a letter.
God.
For a solid year now, the city of Millbrae has been up in arms over a proposal by San Mateo County to purchase the 100-room La Quinta Inn to convert it to permanent supportive housing for the homeless. The city and its residents have objected loudly, saying it would eliminate $600,000 of tax money and make the city a dumping ground for people with mental and substance abuse issues. So in September, the council voted to send a letter to county officials urging them to include the city in any further discussions. But Councilmember Maurice Goodman refused.
That while there is a need for communication to our Board of Supervisor counterparts, I feel that this letter at this time is nothing short of a carefully crafted letter to be utilized as propaganda to further manipulate and politicize our collective responsibility.
When you went to that meeting and cast that vote to not be part of a letter, did you expect this would happen?
No, not at all. I did not expect this to happen. You have one vote, one voice, and that was my vote, and I voted my conscience at the time.
The letter was still sent, but it didn't include Goodman's signature or that of Councilmember Angelina Cahalan, who abstained. So enraged citizens began a recall campaign of the 2.
They opposed to that idea. One of them objected from sending that letter. One of them abstained from a vote, and both.
They're enraged.
And that's why they're being recalled?
That is the summary. That is the kind of the watershed moment, per se.
When our 2 council members abstained,
enraged, recall effort volunteer,
we felt like they weren't really representing us as a community. So at that,
we felt enraged.
They're with us, or we have to act. When you refuse to listen to us as a community, then what other action do you have?
Ann Schneider has been a passionate opponent. Why
don't you run, bro?
Plan and blames the county for trying to force it on the city. But she is alarmed by the effort to recall her 2 colleagues simply for disagreeing.
In districts, it's so much easier to take your anger out on the closest available target.
Is that what happened here?
Yes. I do not think this recall is right.
Why?
Hey, there you go.
Because to me, a recall is when you do something wrong. You steal. You break the law. They haven't broken a law. This is a disagreement amongst a set of council. And in fact, disagreement can be healthy. In this case, it's not been healthy.
Who's this lady?
It's been very, very sad.
Where have you been all my life?
Organizers say it's not just about a disagreement, it's about ignoring the wishes of those who elected them. And now a new election will decide if new representatives will be chosen, ones who will be willing to sign on the dotted line.
All right, so voting will end tonight at 8 p.m. with only about 6,000 registered voters in the 2 affected districts. It's expected that preliminary results will be available in just a couple of hours' time.
I haven't been able to find out what happened yet. I'm sorry. I tried to find video, at least video. I think I know what happened, but anyway, we'll get video on it as soon as they bother to cover it again. This is why I fucking hate local news. They drop these stories and then they don't follow up on the damn story. So if you are like an avid watcher, right? Like I hate to laugh, but like if that's where you get your news from is local news, right? Every night you tune in at 11 o'clock and that's what you get. You don't read the paper. You don't go on Facebook. You don't go on whatever. Definitely go on Insta. You're not going for on the web for your news. Or even TV, that other TV. This is what you get. And if they don't follow up, then it's like the story never fucking happened to a lot of people. And that's why you get this apathetic uninformed populace out there because they just don't know what the fuck is going on. They just get that sensationalized story that tells you one thing, and then they don't follow up with, what happened next and what happened next. There is no story. It's just snippets, right?
Yeah. Anyway. I mean, it's like 6,000 people, so it's just going to be about who showed up.
Oh, absolutely. The 5 people that showed up, right? Like, and this election was held in what? In July? In August?
And nobody's showing up.
Well, yeah, like I'm fucking shocked. It's hard enough, man. I'm working on a campaign now. That's why I had to change into my fancy shirt. I had to take off a campaign shirt so I didn't dox my candidate. But yeah, people aren't even barely aware that there's an election in November, and this is after all the shit that's happened the last couple of weeks. There's still, some of them still not aware. What, we have to vote? Anyway.
So up next, we got one last story here in Down Ballot, a recall watch, before we go to and another thing. And this still, it looks like it says noon recall. Looks like the recall happens at high noon.
Producer Dave, I appreciate you because you always find the nuances that I'm hoping people will see, and yet I don't want to call out because I don't want to look like I don't want to look like that guy. But I really appreciate that you appreciate that, because that was one of the first things that occurred to me from this screenshot. Anyway,
so it looks like progressive groups are uniting to oppose the recall of the Oakland mayor. I mean,
as they should.
Everybody getting recalled. It's like the Oprah show, but for recalls.
Can we be recalled?
No.
As like host of Down Ballot? No? Okay.
I mean, we could.
I guess we're self-appointed and anointed.
Yeah.
Masters of our own domain.
Yeah. Maybe that guy with that blog about all the news shows could stop including us on the list.
Yeah, that would it's just giving it too much exposure, actually. We can't really handle this. Our Twitch channel can't handle the stress of all you viewers. So anyway, getting back to it, so Mayor Sheng Tao is definitely under attack in a lot of different ways, including a recall, which one could say is poorly timed, but also, they're benefiting from, the fact that she's getting a look-see in a lot of different ways. But progressive groups are aligning behind her. These are some of the same groups that got not just her elected, but DA Price elected, and others. So not surprising to see, but yeah, it's kind of a sus-looking press conference, but we'll find out more about the effort from KPIX.
Well, a coalition of progressive Oakland groups spoke out today to oppose the recall of Mayor Sheng Tao. They tell our Da Lin that the FBI raid of the mayor's home has not changed their support for her.
The Oakland Mayor Sheng Tao's recall is being projected to cost millions more.
Very few allies have publicly shown their support for embattled Mayor Sheng Tao since the FBI raid. But a couple of groups on Friday say they still believe in Tao as she fights for her political career.
Sheng is the mayor we need now.
Many Oaklanders say what they need is stability, economic opportunities, and effective strategies to lower crime.
The problem with Oakland didn't just start with this mayor. She's very new. Very new. This problem has been going on for 20, 30 years.
Outside of an East Oakland gym, 71-year-old Dwayne MacArthur says he hasn't made up his mind about the recall.
All I can say is the residents of Oakland is upset because nothing has changed since she's been in office.
He and many voters say the FBI raid is troubling.
The verdict ain't even in, but I know something going on when the FBI come to her house.
I love him.
There's a lot of things that don't look good on her end, like the FBI going into her house and things like that.
Oakland Rising Action and the Wellstone Democratic Renewal Club are two progressive groups hoping to convince undecided voters to vote no on the recall in November.
The FBI raided our mayor's home. Absolutely. It's going to put a question in their minds. How do we move? I think that we focus on Oakland, right?
It is getting better, but she's still only 18 months. So if she's starting to improve things, and I think that she really is, then why would we change now?
They say under Tao's leadership, crime is trending downward compared to last year, which they admit was very bad.
For a lot of us, we feel good about going out again. They have done a lot of work to make downtown friendlier, to make it safer.
But some voters disagree and have already made up their mind.
We need a new mayor. She's no good.
Why is that?
You got crime. Why is they going to her house? Why is they investigating her?
As for MacArthur, he is still waiting for answers on the FBI investigation. But one thing is clear to him.
Oakland is really it's gone down a lot.
Supporters of Mayor Tao admit the FBI raid doesn't look good. But with 3 months left until the November election, they will keep talking to undecided voters.
And the coalition of progressive groups is also promising to support Alameda County District Attorney Pamela Price, who is also facing a recall campaign of her own.
Just recall everybody. Fuck it.
Everyone, just up and down. I mean, if you're really upset with everything, just recall them all. Just take them all out and we'll just replace them all. But who's going to run is my question, right? Like, is enraged white elderly citizen X going to run? Is enraged API elderly citizen Y going to run? You know, like, all right, no, they're not. They have no solutions. They have no ideas as to how, like, and particularly, I don't want to put it all on that one lady, but like, why do you want to recall the mayor? Crime. Okay, what's your fucking idea for solving crime? Right? These folks without solutions, they just have gripes, and that's fine. You can vote against them the next time they're up on the ballot, right? Or you can vote for the policies you want next time there's an election. But like, don't just vote because there's a recall, right? Vote when there's not a recall. Vote when there's actual shit on the ballot that can impact your daily lives. It happens every 2 years, frankly, twice every 2 years. So pay attention more often, and maybe pay attention in the mayor's races, and you won't end up with Sheng Tao.
So this reminds me of one of the dumbest things we ever covered on the Sunday show. When I forget what it was that was being outlawed, and it was our good friend of the show, Ben Shapiro, who was like, well, why don't you outlaw crime? So I'm thinking we should just put crime on the ballot.
Yeah, really. I mean, do you want crime? Yes or no? Right? Do you crime? How about even simpler? Less words, less printing costs. Do you crime? Yes, no. Right? Ballot description. Do you crime? Question mark. Yes, I think that'd be great. Let's put it all in. And that way, if people say no crime, then there will be no more crime. Just like that. I mean, that's really how it works, right?
Right. We can recall crime.
Yeah, we can recall crime, just like we can, institute drug tests and $100, incentives and bus tickets. And, we can just end homelessness today, really. We can also end all crimes. We'll give them $100 to not do crimes. We'll give them a bus ticket to do crime somewhere else, right? Or we'll just stuff them in a shipping container and forget about them for a while until they complain loud enough.
Measure A, be gay. Measure B, do crime.
Do crime. I like measure A myself. I like measure hey. That's my measure.
So we're going to go on to and another thing. We've bookended this with animal interest stories. This one's cooler than the other one because yes. I think this squirrel probably gets along with other squirrels at the squirrel park.
Yes, very much so. And the humans too, apparently, and not afraid to show off. But apparently we have a water skiing squirrel on our hands, folks, and it's one of our local county fairs. So if there's never been a reason for you to go to a county fair, here's a reason.
It is opening day at the Sonoma County Fair, and this year organizers say they expect up to 200,000 people to attend the annual event. KTV's Jana Katsuyama shows us some of the new attractions this year, such as circus performers, a water skiing squirrel, and why many people say they just
and torture a goat at the county fair.
It's been a tradition for 84 years.
Yeah. Torturing goats?
County Fair, everybody. Let's get crazy.
From stage performers to acrobats, this year, people who came for opening day found the fairgrounds in Santa Rosa turned into a giant circus for this year's theme.
The greatest fair on earth. Yes, that's what we are.
Organizers say one of the longest traditions, the livestock competitions, are seeing higher numbers of
cows.
That is our core mission, to teach people where their food comes from.
I show dairy cows and pigs, and my favorite part about it is just working hard and seeing how it pays off.
The most challenging thing is probably
shooting the cow in the back of the head
with them so that they cooperate with you.
I think this is 41 years.
Matt Green has been carving signs at his booth here every year since he was 18 years old.
It's an interesting lost art, because I do everything by hand. It's not done with a computer or CNC machine.
And the wood he uses is cut from trees that PG&E takes down to clear their power lines.
It's all redwood, so it lasts forever, and it's a shame they just used to throw it away. So now I get all the wood from PG&E.
New this year, the horse racing was expanded to 3 weeks.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Hell yeah.
And the fair does have new attractions, like the water skiing squirrel performances, a big hit, and a bubblegum contest to see who can blow the largest bubble.
Oh, looking good. Ooh, not bad. Everyone got ribbons, and then the winners got these fun glasses.
The winner, Teresa Kausland, sums up why she and so many people come to the fair, to spend time with family, making new memories, as she remembers her own mom and a childhood of summers spent together.
Because it's my mom's birthday and she just died a month ago, and so every year we would come to the fair as a family until everyone grew up, and then she would come with us when I had my kids.
The horse racing starts on Friday and the Sonoma County Fair goes through August 11th. In Santa Rosa, Jana Katsuyama, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
It must be like a million fucking degrees there.
It must be. I'm so sorry. I didn't know there was like a sadness in that story, but sad for purple hair lady. That's sad. Yeah, but I thought that would have been more about the water skiing squirrel. But I guess the novelty kind of wears off after you've seen him go around the pool once or twice, so they didn't want to like lead with it. They wanted to close with that. Right.
I saw at the beginning. I'm like, how are they going to do 2 minutes and 33 seconds on the local news about a fucking water skiing squirrel?
Yeah, I figured there'd be something about fried, Twinkies and, kettle corn and more about the circus performers a little bit. I did enjoy hearing that the young people are learning about where their food comes from and all the things that go. And,
I thought that kid was going to while out and be like, I was thinking about a steak when I was petting the cow, something like that.
Yeah,
I thought the kid was going to say something funny.
Your hindquarters look pretty good to eat, I have to say. I really wish they could find out. I mean, I'm not like a hyper vegan or anything, but I really wish they knew. I hope they know exactly how their food is produced and where their 4-H cow goes after they pass them along to the meat providers. Anyway, check out your county fair and try not to torture any goats while you're there.
Yeah, that was awful. They showed that picture of that goat and like it looked like the thing that they put Hannibal Lecter in, kind of like. It's like, what did the goat do?
He probably bit another goat, maybe with its goat teeth. But yeah, free the goats, free all goats. #
Probably ate somebody's Facebook page. They're known to do that.
# free all goats.
Well, that's the show. You want to close it out? I just called you HK. Do you want to close the show out, the councilman? I don't even know what fucking day it is, so you should close the show out because you know what show this is.
Call me Ishmael. That's only for the lit majors out there. Okay. Hey, everyone. I think it's Tuesday. So we do this show every Tuesday, just about, except when we don't. We start at 7:30 p.m. Pacific, and then we go right into public comment with producer Dave. The light is already red. I really encourage you to stick around. It's going to be lit as usual. We invite you to tune in every week for the 9th best local news podcast in California, according to some dude. Go out there and get vaccinated. Wear a mask where it's appropriate. You don't have to wear pants. It's entirely optional. We're going to leave you with some audible smoke signal, and I encourage you to have a lovely week. Peace out.
Time to get the party started. Pick up my phone just to check and see who's calling. Dress up real nice for the ladies at the bar, and I'm driving in my car just to get to where they are. Here at the local scene is where I plant my feet. It's where I smoke my cigarette and I hold my drink. I look at all my friends, they're all blazing greens. Here at the front of the stage, waiting for MTV. Where are those guys who's standing next to me with a pipe in his hand, ready to blaze for me? About 5 minutes later, we're all singing Queen. Now get the fuck up on stage, man, rock the scene, yeah. We do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. We do what we want, and what we we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy that band. I turn and head back to the bar for a refill, man, because you know where we are. We're headed out to the car to smoke another one and another one. Now just when the magic starts kicking in, I hear relapse playing, you know it's time to head in. Alright everybody, now it's time to grab a new drink. Spark it if you got it and then pass it to me, yeah. We do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. We do what we want to do, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy that band. Last up on the bill for the show tonight is Down and Dirty and 5, so we're headed outside to spark up another joint. Now who's got my lighter? Stoner E, of course. Shouldn't you be inside?
I'm all up in this bitch, being who I gotta be. I'm fucked up like the U.S. economy. The truth is that I don't think logically. Stoner E take you on a psychedelic odyssey. Now inside motherfuckers is rockin' me, and outside shit we smoke a lot of broccoli. Rocky the roller, yo, that sexy girl be jockin' me. Ain't too drunk to fuck, but I'm probably doing sloppily.
We do what we wanna do, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy the band, enjoy that band. We do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band.
Molly say that he like jamming, and he hope he like jamming too. Well, I gotta say, thank you, Bob, we do. Yes, I gotta say, thank you, Bob, we do. Well, Bob Marley said that he like jamming, and he hope he like jamming too. Well, I gotta say, thank you, Bob, we do. Yes, I gotta say, thank you, Bob, we do.
We do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. We do what we want, and what we want to do, what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy that band. We do what we want to do, what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy that band. We do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back.